Here we are inside Brew Brothers. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Jeff Choate is to my immediate left, and the Wolfpack departs for Paradise tomorrow afternoon. Nevada has a conference date in Honolulu against the Rainbow Warriors. That is a 9 p.m. Pacific time kick, 9 p.m. on Saturday night. That'll be 6 o'clock in Honolulu. Just your average road game. We'll get into all the pitfalls that can that will not befall the Wolfpack on this trip, but it is an interesting trip, right?
Always is.
Long
Always
flight?
Is. Yeah, long flight, very different environment. It's almost like they try to lull you to sleep. Even in pregame, you got the luau music playing, and it's a strange setup, and ironically, it totally belies the way that team usually plays at home.
Of course.
I mean, they're
ferocious,
like literally savage. And so it's very interesting that way.
Nevada has actually dropped 4 of the last 5 in Honolulu. We'll drill down a little bit more on the all-time series between the Pack and the Rainbow Warriors. Jeff Choate is here. Coming up, we're going to visit with the wide receivers. Yeah, we got Jaden Smith, we got Cortez Braham, we got Marcus Bellin, and we have the wide receivers coach, James Price. I'm excited to talk to the wide receivers. They're kind of, and I say this speaking as somebody who maybe has been accused of being one of these himself, they're kind of the divas of the football world, and I love that. And I always come back to my great wide receiver hero as a kid was Jerry Rice. And he was immaculate in the way he wore his uniform, immaculate in his preparation, and I now kind of just see that in the position. So I'm excited to talk to those guys.
I think we've got a couple blue collar guys in that group. So that fires me up that those guys will do the dirty work, and
Sure.
A lot of our explosive runs come off the work they do in the run blocking game down the field. And so they're 3 awesome kids. I think they've represented our program really, really well, and I think I'll have fun talking to them.
Yeah, I'm not accusing any of those 3 being divas.
Well, there's certainly some diva in a couple of those guys.
I mean, but the archetype of the kind of the prototypical wide receiver.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right. Well, that's enough for the fun stuff. Can we talk? Can we do the?
That's enough of the fun stuff.
Can we talk about?
You want to talk about Fresno State?
I want to talk about Fresno
State.
State.
All right. What the hell?
Well, well, first of all, let's talk about the positives. A masterful drive to squeeze all the time out of the first half and take the lead. What'd you score with 10 seconds left?
Yeah.
And that was brilliant execution to go up 21-17. So through the first 30 minutes, you guys were clearly playing well, and I just would love to hear how you approached that last drive and if that was kind of the exact execution you were looking for.
Yeah, it was pretty much what we wanted to do. The only thing that would have been better is if there had been no seconds left on the clock and we didn't have to kick off and go through the mechanics of them taking a knee and all that kind of stuff. But we've been exceptionally proficient at the end of half.
Yeah.
I think some of the circumstances that we've been in at the end of game haven't allowed us to execute those drives as quite as well as we wanted to. But I thought that Matt did a really good job of we knew we were going to need. This is a really good defensive front, Fresno, that we played, and that played out. I mean, we had a hard time running the ball conventionally. Took some sacks because they are a good front. But early in the game, the shots that we took down the field were productive. Hit a two-move route to Jay Smith. And then, one of the best moments of the game when your mom goes into the Hall of Fame and your famous dad's there jumping over the barrier on the sideline after you score your first collegiate touchdown for Nate Burles in the second. And so that was kind of a cool moment and obviously put us in a position and then took the drive down and scored. Everything was as it should have been. And then coming out of halftime, they did a better job. What they did was they mixed some looks that were problematic for us. They made some good change-ups, and specifically to say you're not running the ball against us tonight, and we're gonna mix our coverages so you don't know exactly what you're getting. And we tightened up on defense, which was great. I mean, there were 7 points scored in the second half. The difference in the game clearly was a couple of mistakes that we made in the kicking game.
Well, I do have to say your defense, there were at least 2 or 3 times where it looked like, given the defensive nature of the second half, and it was a 1-possession game, a 3-point game, it looked like Fresno State was poised, especially after the second punt fiasco where they're knocking on the door and you guys get a goal line stand.
Yep.
I mean, there were a couple moments where it looked like the Dogs might be taking an insurmountable lead, and your defense kept it a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty courageous.
Well, that's kind of what we do. I mean, I think our defense actually plays better with their back to the wall than they do anything else. And there's times where we kind of have these mental lapses, but they're not in critical moments. And when we have to have the stops, they've been really good about that all year. Even getting the turnover that we had at midfield.
Yeah.
And then it went into the fourth quarter. We had that crazy sequence where they missed the face mask call, and we get this
And
weird...
that was a bad intentional. I'll say it. He was outside the tackle box.
Well, yeah, what they ruled was that the ball didn't get to the original line of scrimmage. And if you remember...
Is that what they told you?
A couple of weeks ago at San Jose State, we had the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We hit the guy.
Yeah.
They said the impetus contact prevented the ball from going beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
It was the exact same scenario, and the rule was interpreted differently. Subsequently, I've had a conversation with the commissioner of officials, and he's sent out some literature about how to interpret that in a more consistent way.
Well, that's good.
And Mike DeFee's a good guy, and he does work hard. He takes pride in doing his job well, and so I appreciate that, but it doesn't help you in the moment.
Okay.
As I like to always tell the officials when they screw a call up, and a lot of times, to their credit, they will acknowledge it.
Sure.
And I said, well, this isn't your day job, buddy. This is my livelihood.
Yeah.
So let's try not to get that wrong.
Right.
And usually that's a little bit of a jab at them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because that was an interesting. Okay, so they told you it's because the ball didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the bottom line is this: at the very least, it should have been an offsetting penalties,
Sure.
and we should have
Face
replayed the
mask
down.
yeah.
There was a blatant face mask that was missed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, but let's not
That's
belabor
all right.
that.
No.
All that being said, again, hey, we had in spite of the two fiascos on punt, in spite of some inability to run the ball, move the ball, etc., we had the ball at midfield with 4 minutes to go in a 3-point game.
Yeah.
And so I credit Fresno State. They tightened up on defense. They did what they had to do on offense in the second half, which is get one touchdown, and they did.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference in the ball game. I'm really proud of the way our guys kept fighting, and that's hollow in a lot of ways because, it's like I bring our leadership group together every Sunday, regardless of whether we win or not. Hey, how's the locker room? Where are we at? And it's so funny because I'm like, no, coach, we don't think we're a bad football team. We know we can win.
Yeah.
We just got to eliminate a mistake here, a mistake there, and go play.
You mentioned, I think in your post-game comments, that Fresno State was the more physical team, certainly in the second half. And I would agree with that assessment. How do you coach physicality? Because if the other team is just as mean and just as fired up to hit you as you are to hit them, but they're maybe bigger or stronger, is physicality even something you can coach?
Yeah, don't show me your skill, show me your will. If you walk, it doesn't matter who we play. You come down in pregame, John, and you walk through the bodies. Mm-hmm. You tell me who's going to win the game, and you're not going to pick us. I promise you. Right. Any team that we played this year, except for maybe Eastern Washington, but yeah, you can't define what the level of intensity, how hard we're going to play, the no-quit attitude, all those things. Like, you can't define that. And so even this week, I promise you, if you walk through Hawaii's guys and walk through our guys, you're going to take theirs. But don't count us out, because our will is going to be more important than our skill. And that's what we're trying to get accomplished over time. And we'll get better. We'll go recruit bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
But right now, what we've got to do is we've got to play harder and better.
Will, not skill. Mm-hmm. That's like it's wooden-esque, right? It's a nice little rhyme, helps you learn. I like that.
There you go. Yeah,
Will, not skill.
Mnemonic devices.
Yeah, mnemonic device.
There
That's
you go.
right.
Yeah.
But at any point in the game, does Jeff Choate say, "Hey, you guys have to hit them harder"? Like, is there an in-game check-in about physicality, or is that something
there might be a reminder, but that's the expectation. Effort's the price of admission in our program,
Right.
and part of effort is understanding that football is a combative sport.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to go, sacrifice your body to glorify your soul, you're probably in the wrong line of business.
Our friends at Baselite, looking forward to watching the Wolfpack this weekend and all throughout the season, watching the Pack get out there and play. Call Baselite for any of your concrete products needs. 775-358-1200. Baselite, 775-358-1200. Our great friends at Ryder Homes remind you the next home game is a week from Saturday, November 2nd. Colorado State comes to Mackey Stadium for a Mountain West showdown. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff. Saturday, November 2nd, back home at Mackey against the Rams. And you can get tickets, mynevadatickets.com, mynevadatickets.com, or call 775-348-PACK.
I think everybody should come welcome Jay Norvell back to Reno. I mean, I think that's a great reason to come to the game.
It is
in and
a
of
great
itself.
reason. Yes.
I saw Jay at the Mountain West Media Days, and Jay's actually We go back a while.
Is that right?
And I do like Jay. And Jay, we were having a conversation, and we were talking about this game. I said, you're coming back to Reno this year. Yeah. I said, you bring in extra security? And he looked at me kind of funny, and he goes, is it that bad? And I said, I think it's worse than you think, Jay. I don't think there's a lot of people that
Not on this broadcast.
Not taking 20 of the players that you took out of this program. That wasn't received real well, buddy. And so, just remember that. Just remember that.
Well, Jay, there's always an open invitation on the broadcast.
I like Jay.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with how he handled his exit.
We'll take a timeout. We'll be back.
Clearly, you like Jay too, John.
Well, Jay's a
but
friend
I'm
of
your
mine.
guy right now,
Listen,
buddy.
I'm friends with every coach I've ever worked with. You are my guy. Did you see my former coach I worked with, Jim Mora, had a lovely post-game press conference.
No, I don't follow Jim.
Oh,
no.
He had more choice comments than you, just significantly less diplomatic commentary about officiating after a UConn game.
I tried to be diplomatic.
Anyway, I'm friends with every coach I've ever worked with. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come back with Jeff Choate from Brew Brothers inside the El Dorado Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. We are back live. We are inside Brew Brothers Wolfpack Coaches Show inside the El Dorado. Jeff Choate, John Ramey with you. Nevada at Hawaii. I think it's 8:59 officially Pacific time, so it's 11:59 East Coast time, at least when you look on the schedules, because if it was actually 9 o'clock Pacific time, that's Sunday on the East Coast. And the East Coast is so myopic that they can't deal with that. So.
Well, my daughter JC goes to the school at the University of South Carolina, and she did tell me, Dad, I love you.
But it's on. It starts at midnight.
Probably not staying up. I might, she might listen to your radio lead in, and that's about it.
Does she know what a radio is? Come on.
She knows how to stream.
Okay, good.
So I guess does that count?
It does count.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Right.
Here's my theory, just real quick, and this is
you have the floor, Coach.
Maybe a commercial, maybe a message to the Mountain West. Here's how I think this ought to operate. Okay. When teams go to Hawaii, mandatory noon Hawaii time kickoff. Okay. When Hawaii comes to the mainland, mandatory noon local kickoff.
To allow for maximum
travel time and recovery time,
okay.
right? So the Hawaii having to come stateside and play a 8 o'clock kickoff in
San
Reno
Jose State Arena,
is not great,
yeah.
right? And neither it's not great for us or anybody else to go play. But traditionally, that's when they play at 6 o'clock.
Sure, yeah.
And so I think that's something, hey, we're having some movement and some changes.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
It's a lovely suggestion. We should probably have a segment called the Jeff Choate Suggestion
I have
Box.
a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I have a lot of ideas.
We could probably sell that, right?
Yeah, I think maybe in my next
suggestion box.
My next iteration, I think I should be a conference commissioner. I think I'd do a hell of a job.
At least a pundit when you're done doing the coaching. Let me tell you. We have to remind everybody that Bud Light is a proud sponsor of Nevada Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And our friends at Camelot Party Rentals make it great so you can celebrate. They have the best selection of rental equipment for weddings and special events, live events. Need the right gear. Camelot Party Rentals, proud sponsor of the Nevada Wolfpack. Okay, let's talk about Coach Lubick. Matt Lubick was named this week's nominee for the 2024 Capital One Orange Bowl Football Writers Association of America Courage Award. That's pretty cool. Yeah, give it up for Coach Lubick. Coach Lubick. Battling leukemia and that treatment. And, it's been a story that's been told in many different places, but I'm glad he's getting some national recognition for it. And it's certainly unlike anything I've ever covered in my career.
Yeah, I think I told Stephanie when we had some honest conversation. I said, this is what I want to do. And, she's probably scratching her head a little bit, and I said, I said, honestly, I think this is going to be the best story in college football this year.
Yeah.
And I think, depending on your perspective, it probably is. And the awesome thing about this is it's not just a guy that I think is a heck of a football coach. It's also somebody that I have a long-standing relationship with and have known over 30 years, and just have affinity for. We're friends. And when your friends are battling something that's difficult, you want to be there for them and support them in whatever way you can. And the way this came together was just kind of unique. And I can remember 100 conversations with him about, like, are you sure you want to do this? This is a potential outcome. And even though there's good days and bad days for Matt, because that's the nature
Sure.
of what he's going through. You know, we had an interesting conversation on Monday, because we talked about, hey, is this travel going to be the thing that you want to do,
Right.
and how do we work this out?
Hawaii's still 5 hours by jet.
Yeah.
It's like a long flight.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, obviously that's that. And, you know, I mean, I at my age, I mean, recruiting on the island and then taking a red eye back, and I'm out of it for 2 days, you know. So we're trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, and everything's a day-by-day thing for him. Does he feel good? Does he not feel good? Is it a good day? Is it a bad day? And what it reminded me of was, I said, you know, Matt, it's funny because when I look at you, I don't see a guy who's battling leukemia. I see the goofy 19-year-old that I met in Dillon, Montana all those years ago, and it reminded me of a phrase that I've used a lot, which is the older we get, the more we need the people that knew us when we were young.
Boy, that's true.
Before life beats you up, before the scars and warts and all that kind of stuff. And I just, you know, it was it's like where you want to hug at the end. And but just having Matt here and the courage that he has shown is an example to all of us. And I know I listened to him, you know, talk to the offense on Friday night, and I'm like, how can you not want to just go lay it on the line? You know, like, I mean, like he talks about how tomorrow's not guaranteed, and, you know, you got to live in the moment and the perspective. When you face your own mortality, there's different things that come to mind, right? And I think for the young men in our program, it's been an unbelievable example of how to live your life with no fear, no regrets, and just, you know, embrace every opportunity that you have to do something you love.
Well said. Yeah. Matt Lubick, honored this week by the Orange Bowl and the Football Writers Association of America nominee for the Courage Award. On a less serious note, the game at Hawaii, and we were talking before we got on the air here, the new defensive coordinator for the Rainbow Warriors, a guy named Dennis Thurman, who, if you're of a certain vintage, you may remember was an All-American and a national champion at USC in the middle 70s.
Yeah.
John McKay would have been his head coach, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And then a legendary coach. And then he played and won a Super Bowl with Tom Landry and Roger Staubach, Super Bowl 12, beat the Denver Broncos as a Cowboy. Has been a defensive coordinator for the Bills and the Jets, and then was recently with Coach Prime at Jackson State as his defensive coordinator, and last year at Colorado. And now he's the defensive coordinator year one at Hawaii. Surprise, surprise, the Rainbow Warriors are improved on defense. They're giving up fewer than 350 yards total per game. And just a pretty unique resume and bio in an opposing defensive coordinator. Do you have a relationship with Coach Thurman?
I don't, other than being a huge Cowboys fan growing up. So.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was a huge Cowboys fan. I mean, I'd had my Sears and Roebuck Roger Staubach uniform, and I watched and sweated in front of the TV every Sunday. And so Dennis Thurman, obviously.
Captain America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I was a defensive guy.
Sure.
My player, my guy.
Danny White?
Randy
White, excuse me. Yeah.
Randy White, the Manster, man.
Yeah.
And so
he won was he a co-MVP of a Super Bowl, Randy White?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, the Super Bowl 12. It was he and Harvey Martin. So anyway, long time ago. But Dennis Thurman was, you know, obviously a key cog in the Doomsday defense back then, and has had a, you know, really, really amazing and impressive coaching career. And you can just see the stability that he's brought to the defense.
Yep.
Like they have a plan, they execute it really well. They've always played super hard there, and I was curious. I haven't asked the question to Coach. I'll probably ask him in pregame. Like,
if
hey,
you
what
don't,
was your connection?
if you don't, I will.
Yeah, what was your connection to Coach Thurman, and how did this all come about? Because you can always see these guys that are like, you know, I think last couple years of my coaching career, maybe I'll go to Hawaii and coach. You know, and I'm curious about that. But he's done a phenomenal job there. Most of the season, they were the #1 defense in the Mountain West.
Right.
I think they've slipped to number 2.
They gave up 42 at Washington State last week in a 42-10 defeat. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-5, 2-2 at home, but none of those victories have come over FBS competition. Their wins are over Delaware State at home and Northern Iowa also in Honolulu. You guys are actually the favorites in this one.
Now, that's a rare thing for us.
It's been rare for the Pack this year, but rare to be favored on the island Just
Yeah, I don't know that I mean, hey, I don't follow that too much, but here's what I know. Okay, they took an improving, obviously it was early in the season, but a really improving UCLA team.
Yep.
To the wire.
Yeah, lost
on
16-13.
16-13, and then the I don't know what's Boise ranked right now, 19 or something like that.
Sounds right.
Okay. It was a 13-7 game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they kind of had to rely on a couple of mistakes by Hawaii. And so I think it's two teams that play really hard, that have an identity on both offense and defense, that, what's going to be where's it going to break? And for us, we talked a lot about this week is, hey, can we just each individual be 1% better? Be 1% better in the weight room, in your preparation, in your sleep habits, in your practice habits, because that's what's really separating us. It's not a lot.
I have to say that's a great way to approach it. I mean, if you guys get 1% better to a man, you're winning these games.
Yeah.
You're probably winning all but one game this year. They have Profeli Ashlock has been banged up. He's their best receiver. He's not on the depth chart this week. The quarterback, Shager, really experienced.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football for him.
I mean, how do you slow them down?
Well, you don't. I mean, they're going to get their yards.
They're not going to run, Coach.
They're going to run it a little bit.
Little
and
bit.
Schrager's going to run it more than anybody.
Sure.
And their little shovel screen is an extension of their run game, and that's a lot of their explosive plays come off of that, and Schrager is scrambling or draw. They move the ball up and down the field against everybody. They've struggled in the red zone scoring touchdowns, and so I think that's that's going to be a critical stat to pay attention to. Can we make them earn it and tighten up our defense in the red zone, which we've actually been pretty good this year doing that, force field goals, and then are we going to be able to, our issue last week, we weren't able to develop that consistent identity in the run game. And I think our runners making a guy miss or making him pay. Mm-hmm. You either
make him miss or make him pay.
Make him miss or make him pay. That's it.
Okay, like that.
And so part of that is running through tackles, which I didn't feel like our runners ran as violently and as hard as they're capable of running last week against Fresno. And we're going to have that element in our game. And so that'll be a part of the things to watch. And then the playmakers got to show up. These three gentlemen that are here tonight, they've all got to bring their A game to the island.
Who's going to play quarterback for you?
It remains to be seen, John.
Should we expect all three that we've
Well,
seen?
I mean, technically all three played last week.
Sure.
And so, I think you can definitely expect two of them to play.
Okay.
And so we'll see if all three play. Who knows?
Okay. I mean, I was
No, you got to ask
almost
the question,
to the
John.
end of
You
your
gotta
two
ask
segments.
the question. I appreciate it.
I have mild curiosity about who I'm going to. I'd prefer not to be surprised out there.
Well, you and I will have 5.5 hours to talk about it.
So, anything else you want to get to before we get to the coaches or
Coach Price and
the wide
boys.
receivers out there, yeah.
Well, I think the only thing that I would add, we already talked at length about Coach Lubick, and but I think one of the things that I do respect is I respect the job that Timmy Chang's doing. Obviously, I know that he was an assistant here for a number of years. He's a very gracious young man that has a lot of pride in where he's from, and I think it's really cool that he's because that's not an easy job,
Right.
And he and I may have the two hardest jobs in college football right now. And so, and his is probably harder than mine.
Sure.
Candidly, being on an island. And so I think that's something that I just respect the way he goes about it. He meets every challenge head on. He takes a lot of pride in being a part of that program, but also from that place. And so you can see his footprint and his fingerprints on that program. And I'm looking forward to saying hello to him before the game and telling him how much I respect the job he's doing.
Well, that's cool. We love Coach Chang from his time here. Oh, real quick, before we get Coach Price up here, did you ever coach against Timmy Chang, the quarterback?
Okay, so
because he was arguably the greatest quarterback by the time he was done playing.
Yeah,
so in the history of college football.
I think in 2006 we played him in Boise. I think it was his senior year. Because Brennan was 2000, or was Brennan 2000? I can't remember. I think he might have been done.
I think he was done in 2002, I want to say. Or no, 04 maybe?
Yeah,
I could look it
I
up.
think I coached against Chang. I think I coached against Brennan. And so, obviously, everybody in college football knows who he is because of his prolific stats that he put up.
Yeah, he was done in 04.
Okay.
Okay, that's, because Timmy Chang's playing career. If you haven't looked it up, Google it. It's astounding.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's astounding.
Yeah, the job.
All right.
What he put up.
Coach Price is next. We'll take a timeout. Wolfpack Coaches Show live from Brew Brothers. He's Jeff Choate. Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back. We're live inside Brew Brothers. We are inside the El Dorado, inside the Row. Wolfpack Coaches Show. And Jeff Choate, the head coach. We're joined also by the wide receivers coach, James Price. Nevada football is at Hawaii. It's a 9 o'clock Pacific time, 8:59, 9 o'clock Pacific time kickoff in Honolulu this Saturday. And MMS Events Unlimited mobile stage can elevate your concert, speaker, or special event. Book yours today. BiggestLittleStage.com. BiggestLittleStage.com. Rise above the rest with MMS Events Unlimited. And also, you need to be aware of Friends of the Pack. That is the NIL Collective, providing support for Nevada athletes. To learn more or to contribute, go to friendsofthepack.com, friendsofthepack.com. It is supported by Coit Cleaning and Restoration of Reno. James Price, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You played at Wyoming from 2015 to 2018.
I did.
Did you play with Josh Allen?
I did play with Josh Allen. Yep. Good friend.
Good friend.
Good friend, yeah.
I don't know Josh Allen. He's from like outside Sacramento, right?
He is from Fireball, California.
Okay.
Just, northwest of Fresno.
Okay. So he's a Central
Valley baby,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. He always just seems like, kind of a California cowboy to me. Like, I know he's a Wyoming cowboy,
Yeah.
but like, is that impression accurate?
100%. I mean, it's funny because when I first met Josh, he had a very different persona, I should say, just as far as like he was just a normal kid from California. And he ended up getting some playing time early in our freshman season, and he broke his collarbone. And everybody knew from that moment, like, hey, that kid showed some flashes in those 5 snaps. So when he came back from that injury, the star was born, essentially, and he grew this confidence, and he's never really lost that swagger.
So you're not at all, you've never been surprised by the success he has achieved at the professional level?
Not even one bit.
Okay.
I remember the day he finally got cleared with the collarbone injury, we went out and did routes on air, and it was like, what's that old movie with the $1 Million Arm, $1 Million Baby or whatever, where he just has the rocket arm all of a sudden, just throwing a hitch, throwing a curl. And I was like, okay, it's got a little different zip on it, different pop on it, and it just kind of carried out. And throughout that injury, he also was, having a good time doing his rehab, so he grew and he gained probably 45 pounds. So that's how, the 6'5", 6'6", 250-pound monster you guys see today is. But when I met him, he was just baby Jish from California.
Okay. Yeah, now you caught 66 balls in your career with the Cowboys, 905 yards, 3 touchdowns. We go to Laramie every so often. Yeah, those are good numbers. What's it like playing there? Because I love that stadium. It's like from 1970, and the press box hasn't changed, and I love that. It's got a very specific vibe. They do the big long thing with the beer cups in the stands.
Yeah,
it's
beer snake.
Yeah, it seems kind of like a fun place to play if you like that kind of thing.
It's an electric environment,
Yeah.
and I definitely say over the years I've seen it grown. My first season there, I committed to them when they were 2-10, and our first season we were 2-10. And we saw the thing kind of grow with the investment to football. We upgraded the facilities. And they've really built something special over there with Craig Bowl. Obviously, he's not the head man over there anymore, but it was a special time to be in Laramie. We called it Laradice because it would be snowing in July and it would be 100 in December, and we're like, I don't really know where we are anymore, and it's really dark all the time. But it's a special place to be, special place to play. But I like Reno, Nevada maybe a little bit better.
Well, we'd like to hear that, Coach Price. Like to hear that. Now, you were the director of player personnel at Montana State last year.
Correct.
And obviously, Montana State, there's the connection there with Coach Choate. But Coach Choate, you weren't at Montana State last year. So,
No.
How did your two paths cross?
Well, this is a Lubick deal. Because when I was talking to him, I'm like, all right. We could have gone a lot of ways. Like the issue was the quarterback coach, the wide receiver coach thing, right? And so, he's like, this is the guy I want. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. But now I got to figure out if that guy's going to be kind of the wide receiver guy while you're not doing this. I got to figure out the quarterback thing. And I'd already hired Gilby to kind of do the wideouts, right? And then I'm like, well, Gilby played quarterback, and he can figure this out. So, and it's actually worked out great. Where I think Gilby's done a tremendous job with the quarterbacks, and I think this is the perfect fit with the group of guys that James is coaching. And even for a young guy, immediately upon working with him, super smart, right? Very hardworking, creative, and has kind of a unique background in that, weren't you a head coach in Europe?
Offensive coordinator, special teams
offensive coordinator, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, for like all of a sudden he had all this responsibility kind of thrust on him. So he'd been in a role like that before, where it was like, okay, I got to figure this out, and I'm going to roll. And he's done a fantastic job. I mean, I think the three young men that you're going to talk to here later tonight are three of our most effective players.
Wait, Coach Price, I got IMG Academy, I got Kansas, I got Montana State in your bio. Europe?
Yeah. So. Just prior to when COVID
Coach.
struck, I had an opportunity to go be an offensive coordinator and a special teams coordinator for the Parma Panthers in Parma, Italy, in the Italian Football League. And
Playing for pizza, baby.
Playing for pizza. So that's a great book, by the way. You should check it out.
It is.
And so I had the opportunity, and my best friend from 4th grade on was the quarterback. And so he was like, I think this is an opportunity you need to take, and you need to travel a little bit and take a break from IMG and just see what it's like. And it was an unbelievable experience, and I have so many memories because right when I got there, COVID struck.
Sure.
And, in Italy, it was a little bit different scenario where, things were really shut down. So it was a great experience once we got off of the COVID ban or whatever it was called. But just going out there and seeing how they live their culture, and it's just, they're so much more relaxed. The food is a lot better. Like, everything was better as far as quality of life, and it was an eye-opening experience.
I've been to Italy once. My big takeaway was those people know how to live.
No doubt.
Help me with the geography here. It's Parma, Italy?
Parma, Italy. I believe it's just southeast of Milan.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
North half.
Middle, north, central, south,
okay.
southern.
Above Rome, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. Good note, Coach Choate. Thank you.
I do what I can, John.
Yeah, no, it's very helpful. All right, we're gonna have your three guys up here. What should we ask them?
Just take it easy on them. They're a
Take
little
it
bit
easy.
nervous.
Are they nervous? Does this look hard? Come on.
Nah.
You guys have to catch the ball with the world watching. This 7-minute interview is going to be a piece of cake. I was joking with Coach Choate earlier, joking a little bit about maybe kind of the classic wide receiver temperament. Is there something to that, or is that just kind of something we talk about in the chattering classes? But if it is, why is that important?
I mean, I think it's important. Like, I told the guys the first meeting that I ever took the job, I was like, I will never coach a wide receiver room that is not disciplined, that is not physical, and is not contributing on special teams. And it was perfect because I know that Choate believes in that message of, like, we're not going to have a bunch of receivers that are prima donnas out here. They just want their targets. They want to get theirs. Like, you're going to sacrifice some things for the team, and you're also going to get your targets and get your opportunities to impact the game. And I think, the three guys that you're going to talk to tonight are a great example of all those things of, even if they're not on special teams, they're taking special teams reps and still working on those fundamentals and techniques because they know it's important to the culture of our wide receiver room. So, I think there's a lot of different personalities. They have a lot of different backgrounds as far as where they're from geographically, but they all blend together and it works out.
James Price, everybody. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to interject one thing.
Please.
So one of the things that's kind of been a hallmark of the offenses during my time as a head coach, we're generally run heavy, but the one thing that I will tell you is we coached 3 wide receivers at Montana State that all play in the NFL. One won a Super Bowl with the Bucks. One was on the 53-man roster for multiple years, and one is currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so you kind of see that playing out where there's not going to be – it's not the air raid where you're going to have 5 or 6 guys that are going to have all these targets and touches. But if you're one of our top 2 or 3 guys, you're going to get your run. And you got to be ready to make those plays. And so that's kind of played out again, and that's kind of been one of the hallmarks of, like I said, the style that I like to coach.
Well, we're going to talk to the top 3 guys getting their run when we come back. Thanks, Coach Price.
Thank you.
Great job. Wolfpack Coaches Show. Live from Brew Brothers. We got Smith, Braham, and Bellin when we come back. Stay with us.
In the court of law.
In the court of public opinion. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers. We're live. Wolfpack Coaches Show from inside the row, inside the El Dorado. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend of football, sunshine, and aloha. That's this weekend. October 26th, Nevada taking on Hawaii. And come on out to the island. Stay at Outrigger Resorts and Hotels for the game. We love paradise and we love value. Go to outrigger.com. Use the promo code SPORTS. I am joined by 3 receivers, the top 3 receivers for the Wolfpack: Jaden Smith, Cortez Braham Jr., and Marcus Bellin. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Good.
I do not wish to denigrate anybody's playing career, but there has been a marked improvement in the wide receiver play this season over the past few years. We have seen some great receivers here, specifically Romeo Dobbs. His tenure here I had the privilege of covering. So we've seen great receivers, we missed great receivers, and I think we all agree it's nice to have great receivers back. So thank you very much for your efforts this year, and it's exciting when the team can throw the ball down the field. Let's start. How did you get here, Cortez? Yeah.
So how I got here was the connection with Coach Gilby, Coach Gilbston. So I knew him for a very long time, like since JUCO, being in JUCO, and the recruiting process was doing junior college and stuff like that.
In Baltimore?
No, in Kansas. Hudson, Kansas.
But you're from Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
So you're nationwide.
Yeah, I've been a little bit everywhere. I moved to South Carolina for high school.
Sure.
Did all 4 years there, and then went to junior college and I did 2 years there. And my 2 years there, I met Coach Gilbston. Connected with him, the recruiting process and stuff like that, and wound up reconnecting with him again after I hit the portal at West Virginia. And then I just felt like it was a good choice, and I made that choice and came here.
Certainly has been a good choice. Jaden, did you play for Coach Choate at Montana State? Did you guys overlap there?
Yes, that's where that connection comes from, for sure.
So tell me about how you decided, or you came to play for him again here at Nevada.
I mean, first I got to thank God, because I wouldn't be here without God. But Choate came and recruited me when I was like 17 or something like that. And I chose to go there because I liked everything about what he was doing with the program, and I could see it going in the right direction. So I took a chance and went across the country to Montana.
You went from Fort Worth
to Fort Worth, Texas,
Bozeman,
to
Montana.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little culture difference, but I mean, when you playing football for Choate, you ain't too much other things you got to worry about. And it was something I loved a lot. I made a lot of friendships out there, met a lot of people. And then when Choate took the job at UT, he actually helped me get to where I was at Tarleton. And he was just, because I had reached out to him like, I want to transfer or whatnot, or whatever. And he stepped in and played a big part in that too. And so I did my time at Tarleton. I ended up graduating from there. And then I don't even see anything. I mean, I don't hear anything from nobody. I just see on social media Jeff Choate, new head coach at the University of Nevada. I was like, okay.
So it was automatic.
It was like I did my time at Tarleton, but I knew in my heart like that's something I wanted to feel again. So I figured I'd go take the opportunity in Nevada.
Marcus Bellin, do you ever get to do a media interview where we don't talk about the Truckee Wolverines? Are you tired of that, or do you love it?
So far, we're shooting 100%.
Do you mind?
No, I don't.
I was in Truckee the other weekend stopping for breakfast on a motorcycle ride, and I saw the Wolverines baseball team walking down the main street there, and I thought, I know a Truckee guy. How has it been coming home?
It's been awesome. There's been so much love and support from friends and family. And like I was telling the media before, when I was at UTEP, there was sometimes a friend could make it here and there.
Sure.
My family could make it to some games. That's about it. And now here, there's been a lot of love and support from people that I grew up with, my friends, parents, friends, all around. It's been great.
Has it, because that can go two ways, right? But you are playing in Mackey in front of friends and family, and has it lived up to what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's been amazing. And the support here has been amazing as well, especially with the previous few seasons.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the fan base was going to look like, but they've really showed out and helped affect the games.
All right, let's go lightning round. I grew up watching Jerry Rice. That's my receiver goat. So who are your heroes, your goats for receiver? Cortez?
I'm going to go Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden?
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones?
Santana Moss.
Santana Moss. Okay. I love it. Nice, diverse, cross-section. Is Rice too old for you guys? You haven't seen anything?
I mean, I've seen a little bit.
Yeah. He was a good downfield blocker. I know that Coach Price would want me to tell you guys that. Give it up for the receivers, everybody. Marcus Bellin, Cortez Braham Jr., Jaden Smith. We'll be back to wrap it up at Brew Brothers Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back. We're live at Brew Brothers inside the row, inside the El Dorado. This is the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Nevada football playing at Hawaii. 9 o'clock Pacific time for the kickoff this Saturday night from Honolulu. the Hall of Famer Mike Edwards, and I will get started on 105.7 FM at 8 o'clock Pacific with the Bud Light Tailgate Show, and then we'll have every snap of the action. So if you want to stay up late, tune into Mike and me. We'll be having fun in Honolulu. Somerset Golf and Country Club offers pristine playing conditions, the best greens in northern Nevada, and a relaxing clubhouse. They've got an all-new menu at the grill. Membership start at $300 a month. SomersetGolfAndCountryClub.com. SomersetGolfAndCountryClub.com. Also, Air National Guard Nevada. Nevada Air National Guard. Work part-time. You'll serve close to home, get military benefits, 100% tuition assistance, low-cost health insurance, bonuses, and more. Google up Nevada Air National Guard or call a recruiter, 775-788-5454. Nevada Air National Guard. Okay, well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Let's just one more round of applause for Marcus, Cortez, and Jaden. How great were they? Cortez, I don't know if you're a Neil Young fan. A songwriter named Neil Young has a great song called Cortez the Killer. I recommend you Google that up on your Spotify. Cortez the Killer, great song. Little Neil Young, little culture here at the end. We will look forward to visiting with all of you from Oahu on Saturday night. We'll be back here next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, with Coach Choate for another edition of the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Thanks to Brew Brothers. Thanks to the Row. Have a great night, everybody.